Okay, good morning. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing? Okay, let's do that. Hey, Daily Gaming, good morning. How you doing? Great, got everything running well. Hey, Faith, good morning. How you doing? Okay, cool. I'm great. I'm doing great, Daily Gaming. A bit tired. I don't know why, but yeah, doing good. Hey, Linley, good afternoon. How you doing? Hey, Patel, hi. Hi, Ayakame. Doing all right and ready. Good to know. Very nice. Sound and visual okay? Thanks, Patel. We'll give it a minute or two before we get started. In the meantime, if you're new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. We'd love to find out. The link is there for the Discord channel. If you haven't joined us already, do make sure you join. And for all the regulars, I see all the regular names. So all the regulars, a big welcome back and thank you for joining me on this daily market analysis. How did you find yesterday's live stream with Easy Markets? Put into the chat, let me know. What do you think about that? Hey, Habi Bali, how you doing? Hey, Ju Marinas, good morning. Can we do pound yen today? Yes, of course we can do pound yen today, Daily Gaming, for sure. I've just, over the last hour before the session, went in and cleaned up all my charts. I just came to the point where I felt there's too many lines, so I cleaned it up. You see a bit of, you should see a cleaner chart today onwards. Didn't attend, busy in meetings. Yep, no worries. It's recorded, it's there. We had very good discussion, so you can always check that again. Okay, and just before we get started, a quick reminder again, if you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button. That's a thumbs up button on YouTube. That's a little rocket ship button on TradingView. We are on Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, and LinkedIn as well. So wherever you are, do help me out. Click that like and subscribe button. Ayakame is saying yesterday I was anticipating further yen upside, tracking it into the hours, just dropped back down. Yeah, it did. The dollar index reversing from testing a new high, so we saw that happen. Daily Gaming, I thought yesterday no stream. No, it's not that we had no stream. We had a stream on a different, together with Easy Markets. So I was invited to stream or to speak on, to share on Easy Markets live stream on TradingView. So if you didn't, I shared that on the Discord channel, but if you didn't catch that, the link is there. You can jump on that and watch the discussions from yesterday. Thanks for that, Ayakami. Okay, so with that quick disclaimer, any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as educational material. The contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to trade a financial product, so please remember that your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. with that as well, if you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat. Do like what Daily Gaming just did. Any particular pairs you'd like me to look at, put it into the chat, let me know. He's asked for pound yen, I'll do that. We'll go through the major currency pairs and then any requests that you guys have. If you don't understand any points or like me to explain anything further, put it in the chat as well and let me know. I can do that for you guys. Okay? So what has happened since the last time we spoke? In fact, I'll do this all the way through to from Monday. Okay. Good morning, Erwin. How are you doing? Hey, Gorju. Good morning. So Monday, well, we had Chair Powell. We spoke about that, where Chair Powell was saying that the rate hike in rate cut. Sorry, what a slip. A rate cut in March would be almost impossible, not likely in March, and that's why we saw it as a bit of a sentiment towards pushing that timeline out towards May and possibly into April and June. No, actually not April, into June. Right, so that was what happened on Monday, early on Monday. Nothing much else onto that until Tuesday, where we had at 11:30 a.m. GMT +8 the Aussie, the RBA with their interest rate decision, keeping rates on hold at 4.35%. But what we had here was that here, right? This line says a further hike cannot be ruled out, right? Further hike cannot be ruled out. As much as in the US, in the UK, a bit into the euro, we're talking about rate cut decision coming on a timeline. The RBA is still being very, very cautious, indicating possibly that further rate hikes cannot be ruled out. It all comes down to depending on what inflation is going to do. It's currently at 4.1%, still distance away from its target range of 2 to 3%. So that's one reason why they said, you know, it's not there yet. It's slowing down. Inflation growth is slowing down. It's not there yet. It will take some time, but if any shocks come around, then they're not going to rule out further rate hikes. I think that this comment is really there as a bit of a preemptive warning. I don't actually see them hiking rates anytime in this year. But with that kind of statement and that kind of sentiment, what we did see on the Aussie, this was yesterday on release of the news. At 11, we did see that push up, right? It tracked back down again because of the dollar, but then continued pushing higher after that. So it still brought some upside to the Aussie dollar as we were anticipating, right? As we were anticipating. So that was the, close the wrong window. Hang on a second. So that was the big news from yesterday with the RBA cash rate keeping it at 4.3 with the rate statement indicating, possible, not ruling out rate hike decisions, but it does look like a rate cut decision towards the end of the year or within this year if we see the inflation or the CPI data reflect, where was it? Reflect that slowdown, right? You have that. There you go. You have that one as well, right? Made good progress on inflation, but job is not done. Not done. So maybe if it gets bad or gets worse, it might hike one more time just to really slam down on inflation growth. But I think it's unlikely. We might see that They might have done enough. They might have done enough. That's my point of view, all right? Hey Diana, how you doing? Good morning. Good morning, Angel Case. How you doing? Hey Christina, good to see you again. Hey Jimmy, good morning KLE. Daily Gaming's asking if any bank cuts rate, what will happen to the currency of that bank? Okay, so typically when a central bank cuts rates, when a central bank does a rate cut or releases a rate cut decision, what is likely to happen is that the currency should weaken, right? The currency should weaken because when you cut interest rates, it makes it less attractive to investors, right? Less attractive to investors. I can't remember where you're based at Daily Gaming, but if you compare, for example, where was it? If you compare, for example, the Aussie interest rate is, cash rate is at 4.35%, while if you look at the US is at 5.5. So given that, you know, if you had that flow, easy flow of capital, you would definitely prefer to put your money in the US because you will be earning 5.5% on your money compared to 4.35. It's not exactly that because Fed funds rate, the cash rate, they do adjust it on deposit rates as well. But you should be getting more on interest in the US if you have your money in the US compared to in Australia. So if, for example, the Fed cuts rates down to, you know, scenario down to 5%, then you're thinking, well, 5% compared to 4.35 in Australia, there is a difference. There is still a higher interest rate, but your money will be in the US dollar, right? Your money will be in the US dollar. You lose on exchange and time and liquidity, or not so much liquidity, but time of exchange and possible currency fluctuations as well. Then you might keep your money in Australia. So when you cut rates, in summary, when a central bank decides to cut rates, it is more likely to see the currency depreciate because it becomes less attractive to investors. Okay? Hope I answered your question there, Daily Gaming. Good question. Good to recap for everyone, right? So that was yesterday with the RBA interest rate decision. A whole bunch of news, but did not factor too much into how prices were moving. And then early this morning at 1 a.m., FOMC member Mester was speaking with that line, right? Expect Feds to gain confidence to cut later this year. When the Fed cuts rate, it'll be at a gradual pace, lower rates, inflation doesn't fall, Fed can maintain currency. Not that one. Where was that headline I was looking for? There was that one headline there. I saw that, I just can't remember where I saw it now. Needs to see more progress on inflation, getting to 2%. I hate it when I see something and then I try and find it again. It's not there. Oh, that one. PIMCO sees multiple BOJ rate hikes starting as soon as March. Something to keep in mind, something to think about. Sorry, just bear with me for less than a minute. I want to find that headliner if I can. Later this year. Okay, I can't find it. Try again. Remains a force to reckon with. No, not that one. Was it Yellen who was... Okay, I don't see it now. Let's check the Yellen one. No. Okay, I don't see it now, but there was some talk about, reigniting that idea that maybe they could still look to cut rates earlier than expected, and that's why we've seen the CME Fed Watch 2 data. This was just yesterday on the 5th, well, 2 days ago on the 5th. A rate cut decision was at 15%. I can't find a headline, but if I find it again, I will put it into the Discord channel. But this was on the 15th, on the 5th at 15%. Right now it's jumped up a little bit to 21%, 21.5% for a rate cut decision. Okay, keeping rates on hold in March went from 85 down slightly to 78.5. Still most likely going to see a rate being held at the current level in March, but it's just flicking slightly between these two levels. Okay, it might come to the point, or it's coming towards the point where I might not pay as much attention to the CME Fed Watch 2 for maybe the next couple of weeks, just because, going from 15 to 21.5, it can have a little bit of impact, but it's not a big move. It's not going to lead to a big move. So, we're not going to be too worried about those few percentage points. In May, we're still looking at a almost 65% chance of a rate cut decision, and through to June, we're almost 100% chance of a rate cut. So, timeline most likely, or seems like it's being shifted slightly out from March to May and June. Okay, so with that, I'm going to close this off. Might check it once a week or something, but might not pay too much attention to the CME Fed Watch 2 moving forward. With that, oh man, okay. With that, we had Governor McCallum from the Bank of Canada speaking early this morning as well, 1:45 a.m. GMT plus 8. Needs more time to bring down inflation, right? So with that, you saw on the USCAD at 1:45. There we go. You saw that push down, and then it's set right there. Sorry, I'm just got something in my throat, coughing away, but just bear with me. Hey, God knows, good morning, how are you doing? All right, so with that we had also at 5:45 a.m. the Kiwi with their employment change number. Unemployment rate surprisingly did go up, but not as much as expected. I thought this would stay at 3.9%. I did not think that it would jump up to 4%, but luckily not as much as we had expected at markets had expected at 4.3%, with employment change quarter on quarter going from minus 0.2 revised up to minus 0.1 and then to 0.4. So a big change in the employment numbers. Employment change is a change in the number of employed people, but yet we saw unemployment rate climbing from 3.9 to 4. What this could mean is that more people are looking for work, but businesses are not hiring as quickly as the people looking for work, right? So unemployment rate jumps, yet we see employment change numbers or increase in the number of people being employed. Then not much else for today. MPC member, Women in Economics annual event, not going to worry too much about that. And then we have a whole bunch of FOMC members speaking. I don't think these are going to move prices too much. Again, yes, they're most likely going to make some comments about interest rate decisions and how inflation is getting there but not ready yet. I think so long as they stay along the same tune, right? If they say along the same tune as Fed Chair Powell, then we're most likely going to see the dollar index continue with its current trend, which I'll show you shortly. And through to tomorrow, some news, but nothing too crazy. Okay, again, just a small change in our schedule. There'll be no live stream on Friday, right? So no live stream on Friday because Saturday is the Chinese New Year. Saturday is the Chinese New Year, so Saturday and Sunday is where I'll be stuffing my face and drinking and eating and having fun. So it actually starts on Friday. So no live stream on Friday. Saturday I'm out, Sunday I'm out. I might also be out on Monday, but definitely back on Tuesday. Okay, it's gonna be a long 4-day weekend for me. So please trade well, trade safe. Yeah, and Happy New Year to all Chinese and anyone celebrating the Chinese New Year, the Lunar New Year. Okay, so with that, now looking at the dollar index, look at how I cleaned out my charts. Look at how I cleaned out my charts. Okay, so just to show you why I've cleaned, or how I've cleaned it out and why I have the levels there. Big swing level here, so that's my support. From the top right down to here, I've got my 61.8, which coincides with where it just was over the last couple of days. We've got that trend line from the top here down towards this point. So it's coinciding well. I've got this dotted line as my interim level because of this swing level. So big resistance, interim resistance level, and then a resistance level formed by the 61.8 and the trend line. And then through to the near term, taking the bottom from here up, I've got 61.8 here. So that's my key support. 38.2 is my interim support level here, which is also the swing lows. And then I've got a few dotted lines here. This one being that it was a bit of a level. It came here, it bounced off. So I'm just highlighting this point, looking for it to break towards this next swing level here and also that 50% Fib retracement level. Okay, so I've just cleaned out the charts, make more sense of the lines, and that's where we have the dollar right now. So the dollar index, when we saw on Friday with the non-farm, a big shoot up all the way through to Monday. Monday continued higher because Fed Chair Powell said, hey, maybe no rate hike, or most likely no rate hike in March. So it continued pushing up, tested that resistance together with the trend line, push back down on Tuesday, and then again bounce back up and then right back down again. If I had this level, I think that would work. You see it came right back down almost to that 23.6 level before pushing back up. And what we have now on the dollar, testing that resistance twice and that trend line failing to break higher, pushing back down. So because of this, what I think, or what I would be looking out here on the dollar index would be, if it does break below this point as much as 104, if it goes below 104, we could see it come down to 103.75, which is this level here, which is this whole, oops, can't draw a straight line, this whole level there. Right, and then if it breaks that, it comes back within that range, which is what we had through pretty much through from mid of Jan all the way through to Feb. It stayed within that range. So I think that it is a healthy retracement on the dollar right now. Today being the 7th of Feb, dollar index is tested and rejected. So we're looking for it to break below 104. Could test 103.76 or 75. Right, so break this level, could come down to this point. And because what I'm looking at is because there is no major news for today, especially for the US, right? I don't see a major big move that could happen. So I don't think it will go beyond that. 61.8 is right there at 103.55. To test 103 to 103.55 area. Okay, so I would say that if it does break, so that dollar weakness, we could see the dollar come down to that point, like that. Again, need to wait for it to break. It could very well hit this level and bounce, similar to what happened here, right? Come down, it could do that, come down, bounce around, and then go straight back up. Bit unlikely, I think. I think right now we might see it retrace down to this area before pushing back up. So essentially looking at some weakness on the dollar to come back into play. All right. Make sense so far? Let me know. While you're doing that, good afternoon, D-Train. How you doing? Elston. I think it's Elston. Happy New Year. Thank you for that. James Bond 57. If you trade WTI oil, what's the outlook for WTI in the long term? We can do that. We'll jump to that shortly at the end. Okay, if it makes sense, put in chat, let me know. Thanks, Jew Marinas. Thanks, Spiros. How you doing? Thanks, Bali. Habib Bali. Jew Marinas, Ayakame, and Jimmy. Thank you for that. Okay, so that is the view on the dollar needs to... Oh, you got me there. Thanks for that, Jew Marinas. Okay, there we go. I'm just thinking, does that look reasonable? Yes, I'm quite happy with that. Okay, Bollinger is still okay. Yeah, it needs to. Prerequisite is that it needs to break this level first. Okay, then with that, looking at the Kiwi dollar, expecting that weakness to come back into play for the dollar index is going to push the Kiwi dollar up. Again, at that level, 61.8 is where it is right now. Support level is here because of the swing low. Resistance is up here because of these key levels here that it's reversed from. And then also the big support level. So we have one level here. In fact, I might do that because the big support level here is at 61.8 at this point. Okay, so now zooming in onto the Kiwi, what you could, this is a little bit risky. This is going to be a little bit risky because even expecting that dollar weakness to come back into play, if this pushes up and you look to say, for example, to buy it up from here, 6125. All right, if it 6120 will be a bit near. 61, yeah, even if you go 6125, you have that trend line right there. Right, you have that trend line right there. You would be looking at about a 20 pip stop loss. You'd be looking at a 50 pip take profit back up, but you have the trend line right there. Still a reasonable trade, but something that you want to watch out for because you can see that it's keeping that trend line. That trend line is acting quite well as a bit of a resistance level. So you want to see that come there at least with a good momentum to push up. I think that if you look to buy it up only if it breaks above that trend line, it's not worth it because your stop loss is still 15 pips possibly. Your take profit at 35 is a bit too much to manage. All right, so I would say that Kiwi 6125, stop loss 20 pips, take profit 50. Alternatively is that you could wait for it to push up and then possibly look for a reaction to turn back down from that resistance. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for. 6125 to buy it up on Kiwi, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the upside. Buy 0.6125, stop loss 20, take profit 60. 50. What am I doing? Okay. Good morning, Jamil. How are you doing? That's going well. Okay, good, good. Happy with that. Needs to break 61. It's still in the Kiwi since yesterday's news. Very nice. I think you would have got in at about that point. Yesterday's news. What was yesterday's news? This morning's news. Or yesterday at the cash rate. But yeah, generally still looking for that upside move. Let's see. Look at that. It's reversing at 60. It's retracing at 61. We need to wait for it to break before we look for that push. Could you look for it a little bit nearer at 6120? Maybe still okay, but I think 6125 might be better. Okay, then on to the Aussie dollar. Right, Aussie dollar looking a lot better. I like this. Again, 50% tested here. Right, tested early this morning, reverse consolidated at this point. You see here that we have the shoulder, head, and neckline. Oh, can't draw a straight line. Okay, what am I doing? Go away. And neckline there. Right, so we have an inverted head and shoulder here on the Aussie dollar, and I think you can see there at 38.2 it also forms a bit of that level where it broke and it started that push up. Okay, so I feel that if you missed out on entering there or at 38.2, the next alternative would be if it breaks above 50 for that upside. So I would say about 6545, a little bit near. I'm happy with that. 6545, stop loss no more than 20 pips. Take profit, I'll go up to even 35, 40 to the upside there. In fact, I would say that you can even do that. 60 pips up. Just catching this point here, back over. Right? 20 pips stop loss would be reasonable, and then you want to pay a bit of attention at 6580. That's what we'll look out for. Okay. 6545 2060. Okay, cool. 6545, stop loss 20, take profit 60. Possible hesitation at 0.6580. Yep, okay. Watching the dollar, very important there. Hey Ether, how are you doing? So if that breaks, pushes down, that's going to push up, break above that level to push up. Could hesitate at 6580. If it breaks beyond that, we're looking for that high there at 660 pips, which is also the nice level at about 0.66. Okay, cool. And this is also supported with an inverted head and shoulder. Then onto the US yen. Remember again that headliner. Again, I lost the headliner. I'm so terrible. Okay, there we go. I'm terrible with looking for headliners. Okay, PIMCO. Not saying this is not official. This is not an official release from the Bank of Japan, but PIMCO is saying that it sees multiple Bank of Japan rate hikes starting as soon as March. Right? Starting as soon as March. Erwin loves the yen pair. I do too. I do too. If you remember, I think we were talking, I don't have it there, but check Monday's video. We were talking about a possible reversal on the US yen. We were talking about possible reversal on the US yen. Yes, anticipating it could push up higher, but you know, it could also turn back down, which we saw happened on the 19th of Jan. We saw it happen on the 24th of Jan, and then looks like it's going to happen again this time round. Firstly, it's already gone from 148.38 down to 147.74. Bounced back up a little bit, now showing a little bit of a push to the downside. If the low, again, this is it's a bit warm. This is a rate hike decision, right? Flip is totally different compared to what everyone else is talking about, a rate cut decision. The Bank of Japan is talking about a rate hike decision. If they do hike rates, then we're likely to see that the yen is going to strengthen, right? It's going to strengthen if they do hike rates. On the US yen, if the yen does strengthen, then that's going to mean that we're going to see that drop further. What do you think? Do you think, put it in the chat, let me know, do you think that the Bank of Japan is likely to hike rates in March? Yes or no? Yes or no? In March, what do you think? Let me know. I want to just try and find the yen position we were talking about. So put it into the chat, let me know. I just want to find US yen. Okay, there we go. Okay, so just to share with you all this. So this was on the 5th of Feb. We were looking for the US yen to break below 148.14 for that push to the downside, right? So 148.14, which was it 148.14? Yeah, 148.14 or 148.15 thereabouts. So we're looking for it to break past that point, which was right about there. All right, we had our entry or possible setup at about there for that push to the downside. That was on Monday. Through to today, right now, what we're looking at is Lindy says no, Angel case yes. We have a fight off 1v1. I think that despite whatever the Bank of Japan is going to do, if PIMCO is getting into position, if many institutions are getting into possible positions for the BOJ's rate hike decisions whenever it comes, it's very good value for institutions to be buying the yen that cheap, right? That cheap. So I do think that the pressures would be, or the demand would increase for the yen as you know people start speculating. on the timing of a rate hike. So maybe a bit more downside back. 147.55. Stop loss 30 pips. Take profit. I would love to see it come down 130 to the downside to that point. All right, this level here formed by that 61.8. So I'm happy with that. 38.2. There are a couple of levels to pay attention to, but not very strong. Right? Why I say not very strong is if I looked at that, that broke through so easily. So I'm not worried about that. Same with these levels here. Same with that one. So good level here, but it just went straight through. Obviously because of the NFP, but I broke that level. So I'm not too concerned. I'll be looking for that move down on the US yen. 147.55 to sell down, 30 pip stop, 130 to the downside. Yes, you still would have to manage your trade. I don't think it's going to move down in a straight line. I don't think it's going to move down in a straight line. I think for good measure, we can look at a possible hesitation at 147. We got a 55 pip profit and then a continuation of the move possibly. Okay, so US yen. We're looking to sell this down 147.55. Stop loss 30, take profit 130. Stop loss 30, take profit 130. Hesitation at 147.00. Does that work? We're looking for that. We would be looking for that. Hey Lazarus Sunday, good morning. How are you doing? Okay, I'm happy with that. That's what I'll be looking out for. I'm, as much as I have been, and typically I've always been very good with buying the yen up. I feel that it's quite toppish now. I'll be very careful to buy it up. All right, if it breaks above 149, maybe we can see 150, and then we've got a bigger resistance at 152. But a lot of things needs to happen here. We need to see massive dollar strength, and the Bank of Japan coming out to say no chance of a rate hike before we see that push into this region again. I think that's the more likely scenario. Okay, then on to the pound dollar. It's already moving. So again, pound dollar support is down here because of those swing levels close to that 38.2 area. Resistance at this point. I did not catch that top area there, or top level there, because I want to just catch the immediate levels, which works this way. Right, so that's my whole resistance area, and then for this move to the downside, we're just about now trying to break above that 38.2 retracement level. You see, it was a bit of a test and push down, a swing level here as well. So now it's trying to break to the upside, break up towards this point, right? You can, so what I'm getting a bit worried about now, not worried, but paying a bit of attention to now is all the anticipation for that dollar weakness. You know, maybe you want to plan for some possible dollar strength scenario. I don't think it would be in this case. That's why I had that there, 61.8, right? So I don't think in this case, if this closes this way, you could be looking for a brief buy to the upside, 1.2625, 50 pip take profit, 25 pip stop loss, a 1:2 back up. Jamil's in a sell already, instantly on the flip side, right? But what needs to happen is that it does need to break, this needs to close at above that point. It needs to close above that point. Pound, no major news. We just saw that. Member speaking, no, okay. So if we do see that dollar continue to weaken, then we're going to see this move. I think that it might push up before coming back down, right? Same with the dollar index. I think that it could come down here and push up, or it could bounce from this point up. So I think this is the longer term view or the medium term view, something like that. It needs to break that point if it's going to hit lower. So what could happen here is a move like this on the pound dollar. So that's what I'll be looking out for. 1.2625 to buy it up, and then after that maybe to sell it back down at, if it fails to break, 61.8. okay. So on the pound, I'll be looking to buy 1.2625, 25 to 50. 1.2625, stop loss 25, take profit 50 to the upside. Pips Apprentice says buy for pound. I'm waiting at 1.2638. So I do think it's going up a little bit. I hope I'm not jinxing either myself or Jamil, but I want Jamil to make money as well if you're in a sell already. But I think a bit of a push up before that downside move, okay? The Prophet's asking pound sell, Amar. Yeah, it's either buy or sell, but naturally, right? Buy or sell. But I do think that, yeah, it looks like it's going to push up a little bit. Buba's asking, why do you wait to see 1 hour closure, not 30 minute or 4 hour? Because we're looking at this on a 1 hour chart, that's why I'm paying attention to the 1 hour close. You would look at the 4 hours if you're trading swing trades on the H4 time frame. I've never had the habit of looking at a 30-minute close. I've never had a habit of looking at a 30-minute close, so and you know, if you're waiting for a 30-minute close, you might as well wait for the hour to close, because it's going to give you a bit of a slightly stronger confirmation with the hour being a slightly larger time frame, or twice as big compared to the 30-minute time frame. Okay. Let's do that then. I got a request, so I'm going to do it. There we go. The poll is just launched. Pound dollar next move, buy up or sell down. Vote, vote, vote. It does not move the way the price is. It's just something fun that we can do together. All right, Habib Bali, no worries. Catch you again. Now that's on the pound dollar. So I'm thinking that pound dollar could push up a bit, while the US yen now retracing, but looking for it to possibly push back down. Daily Gaming was asking about the pound yen, right? Pound yen is sitting right in that area. So pound dollar possibly going up is going to drag the pound yen up. But if the yen does drop, then it's going to drag it back down. It's going to be super conflicted in this area. I would say be super careful. What looks like, in fact, I'll clear this out. What looks like it's could happen Right, what looks like it could happen is on this move like that, right? And we have that move there. We have this level here. We have this point here. What looks like it could happen is that if it breaks above that high, then we could see it test and turn back down like that, right? Or so you want to wait when you're in this area, or if it breaks below that point, then you look to sell it down. But at this point, nothing yet, and it's a bit of a limited upside on the pound yen. So you can look at 186.90, stop loss 50, take profit 50, stop loss 25 or 30 even. Alternatively, you'd be looking to sell down 186, below 186.15, stop loss 25, take profit 73. Bit of a straddle there because it is conflicted between the pound now pushing up a little bit more and the yen that looks like it's going to be pushing back down. Okay. Okay, so answer Buba's question. I've done the poll for Pips Apprentice. Erwin says pound is close to the weekly open, which is weekly open is right there. Yeah, oh sorry. The pound is close to the weekly open, which is right there. So yeah, what could happen is a bit like that. But I think that with the momentum, we could see it push up. Okay. I love it. I love it when Jamil tells me about his withdrawal landing in his bank account. Fantastic. Everyone else, make it a habit. Everyone else, tell me about your withdrawals landing in your accounts as well. I want to know. I want to know. I promise I want to ask for presents, but I want to know when you're hitting your profits and your withdrawals. With that, yes, I wish Ayakami, I want to see you do that too. Okay, then on to the euro. Okay, euro, big drop, pushed up. We were talking about this yesterday and on Monday as well, where I was saying that it could come down and push back up. On the euro, it's doing that. Nothing to do on the euro yet because I want to see what happens at 38.2. It does at some point, at some level, coincide with those swing levels as well. Okay, so you want to see what happens to the euro at that 1.08, almost 1.08 level. Almost at that round number of 1.08. And you look at the way the last time the euro came down, right? So this was that move. Which one is this? Okay, so the last time it came down to that 50% level, it bounced right back up strongly. Okay, and then now again come down, bounced off this level, this 50% level, and then looks like it's going to push back up. I want to see what happens at 1.08. If it does break higher, same thing, 20 pips, 80 pips to the upside. I would not sell it down from that point. I wanted to break the support before I would sell it down. 1.0715, stop loss 20, take profit 50. and a lot more downside there. Okay, the main thing is to see what happens. Look for reaction at, in fact, you can't even do that. You could do that. You could do that as well. That's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. Okay, so on the euro, what I want to see is wait for reaction at 1.08 level, round number level. Okay. Yes, I hope you all do that, Pips Apprentice as well. KLE, hoping to pass my challenge this week. Very close, good job. Don't rush it, right? A lot of times when I see people trading in a prop challenge, when they come very close, they try and rush it and try and get it faster. You don't, try not to rush because that's sometimes going to catch you out. Erwin is starting in the first funded challenge too. We'll use the link, fantastic. If today I win, tomorrow another withdrawal of 5.5. Very nice, super. Yes, Jamil, do share your entries on Discord. Thank you, Erwin. Still in the first year of trading, I made the process much quicker, along with everyone on Discord. Can't believe the progress I made. Hey, I'm super happy that you're getting the maximum benefit out of it. Share your trade ideas, share your trade setups, and then you know, you learn more by sharing your ideas and setups as well. Okay, I wanted to drag the time out a little bit just I want to see what happens on the dollar. It is pushing down. Euro pushing up, want to see a reaction at 1.08 level. US Swiss franc, again, redid my lines, get good support here. Another support here at a 50% level with those swing levels there. Resistance is up here, which is also that 50% level from the longer term. Interim level here at 0.8692 or 8690. Consolidating very tight. A bit surprising to see it consolidate so tightly at this level here. Not a head and shoulder. I don't see a head and shoulder here. But what you would be looking for is if it breaks below this point, 8686, stop loss can be very tight. No more than 20 pips. Take profit about almost 40 pips to the downside. Right, you got 40 pips to the downside there. Consolidating it might be a quick pop to the downside, so something to watch out and be careful of. So 8686, what am I doing here? Okay, US Swiss franc, I'm looking to sell at 0.8686, stop loss 20, take profit 40 to the downside. See, that's why I'm saying it's a bit odd. It's a big move, a relatively big move here on the dollar index, but we're not seeing that reflected. In fact, now showing a little bit of a bounce. Very odd, should be pulling to the downside. If it does bounce up, even better, you can look to sell down from that point. Then you would have a good 60-70 pip move to the downside. Okay, but I think that to be reasonable, let's look for that one first. Okay, then so US Swiss franc sitting in consolidation, possible downside move. US yen sitting there looking for it to break to the downside. Diana is on the session, so Swiss yen pushing down, needs to, this is going to be relatively straightforward, right? Needs to see that level here, needs to break that level before we're going to see that downside move. I'm relatively glad that it's breaking that point, also 61.8 level there. right? So we see that holding many occasions already. It's not a given that it will break, but it's something that if it does, then yen coming down, Swizzy coming down, mostly the yen coming down, we might see that 169.70, stop loss 25, take profit 60 pips to the downside, only if it breaks below this support level. All right. Then on to, thanks Jamil, catch you again tomorrow. Then on to, hey, buy investors, be investors futures. How are you doing? US CAD sitting at that point. Dollar possibly weakening. Look, it stopped right at that point. Don't rush into it yet. It has not broken. It's just stopped at a point. So just be careful, but I do look for that downside move. We should be seeing this push down. It's sitting in that consolidation. Not as tight as the Swiss, but it's still sitting right across. I'm thinking, would you consider a 20 pip stop here, a 50 pip take profit to the upside? If the dollar does not weaken and it strengthens, you can look at that move. Yeah, if the dollar does not weaken and it bounces, so if it just comes here and bounces back up, then you can look for that move on the US CAD. I'll keep that there just as something to think about. So 1.349495, 20 to 50. Okay, as an alternate view. 1.3495, stop loss 20, take profit 50 to the upside. If dollar strengthens. There we go. Okay, then on to gold. Cleaned out. There's too messy for those lines there. So big swing level here. I got my support at 1936. Next swing level higher up, I got my support at 1976. Swing level here. Show you there and there. Mostly this one coinciding with that 61.8. So my resistance here at 2087. We have that upward trend line, we have that downward trend line forming this tight range here on gold with the two interim levels that has been trading within. So that's the range, that's the diagonal levels that's sitting right in the middle. If we looked at this, you can also see that the reason why it's sitting right there, it's came close to that 50, in fact 38.2, right? So broke 38.2, cannot break above 50, and it's sitting right there. What I would be looking for, actually I put that there as my midline, is if the dollar does weaken, right? If the dollar does weaken, that's going to push this up. So we would be looking for it to break above 2039, 2040, to get up to about 2052. About there. Okay. I don't see a correlation right now, but it's going to lag a little bit. So break 2040 could trade up to 2052. Okay. How's the poll going? 64% saying buy up, 36% looking to sell down. We shall see what happens. No guarantee either ways. Then I had a question for oil, WTI. And the question was, what's the outlook for WTI in the long term? So there's WTI crude and Brent. We look at WTI. We spoke about this quite a bit yesterday during the Easy Markets stream. The consideration was, hey, with the conflict in the Red Sea, is this going, should we see WTI strengthen? Should we see oil, energy strengthen because of the conflict? The view and the thought was that it does not seem to be a attack on energy. So looks like there's not a big push, but as I'm looking at this right now, I would think that, let me just check one more level. That's the point there. 79 is there. I think that if it can break above 70, so what's going to happen is it looks like it might push there and sit around that point. We're looking for it to break up. So above 75, we could see it trade higher. Okay, no, I'm going to tell you that I don't know what exactly is going to be the long-term view, but the decision is what happens at 74.50. Naturally, if it breaks past that point, then we're going to see a big push to the upside, right? And that's at 38.2 level, with my next point about there. Yep, so if it breaks above 74.50, we could see 76.70. If not, then we're going to see that, what am I doing? Then we're going to see that test and turn back down and then bounce around like that. Okay, so the reaction is that we're waiting for what's going to happen at that point. With that, and see that's about 60% there. So I would be looking at something like that. That's what I'll be looking for. Okay. Thank you, Goju. Most welcome. I hope I answered your question there. James Bond 57. Erwin's asking, will you do some live trading sessions in the near future? Yes, I can. I can do that. I can arrange for that. Just make sure you guys turn up. I want 100 people on the session at one time. Kame says live session will be amazing. We can do that. Oil and US 500 are also nice pairs. Oil sometimes a little bit, I find, for my view, a bit picky. Learning most of my technicals from ICT would be nice to get your perspective on technicals for sure. I'm still doing the goodies. I'm still trying to get that done. Thank you, Diana. Thanks, Jumarinas. Alrighty, so again, remember the link for the Discord channel is there. If you haven't already, do make sure you join us. And in the meantime, please trade well, trade safe, watch what's going to happen on the dollar index. It's just being a bit annoying there. Please trade well, trade safe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Same time, same place. Take care now. Bye-bye.